welcome to the 7th MCU movie of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's with me tonight? Damn it, that's not what I want to say. Here. Okay, wait a second. This is still going to be in there. This is what I want to say. Honestly, I hate working here. They are so weird. Who's with me tonight? There we go.
Oh, man. I like that one. I thought about using it. I am a cheap trick and a cheesy one-liner. Michael K. Hughes.
And I am too bored to care. Bill Tucker.
Did I even say my name?
I don't know. Everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, we know
I
you
should
are.
at this point.
Yeah,
You're jumping in on Iron Man 3 of the MCU for Games My Mom Found. What are you doing with your life?
Probably because you want to hear people complain about it. That's my guess.
Yeah. Well, I am Mike Albertin, in case I forgot to say, because I can't remember now. I might have said it. Who knows? All right. Well, I'll introduce what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about Iron Man 3, because that's where we're at in our MCU quest.
We're here.
Our journey.
Journey. Okay, journey sounds better. More of a journey than a quest, because there's nothing we're trying to solve other than me making a podcast show and wanting to do this. Fine. All right, so we're here to talk about Iron Man 3. First thing I do want to say is I'm assuming, well, this is your first time seeing it, right, Bill?
Yeah, this is my first time. Never caught it in theaters. Yeah, first time around.
My condolences. And I know me and Mike have been... I have bashed this movie on air, off air for years. I have hated this movie ever since I first saw it in theaters. So how about you, Mike?
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. I think that's the only time I had seen it until this viewing. Like, I remember bits and pieces of it, and I think I just kind of blocked out the rest of it.
All right, and I'm going to say something to make it lose all our listeners real fast. Well, two things I want to say. One, I want to say, if you like this show, do us a favor and tell people you like this show. Let someone know. Tweet, Facebook, it helps us out a ton. Second thing, now that everyone's still here, I actually like this movie more than Avengers. I'm not kidding. I actually had more fun watching this than I did 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we watched Avengers.
That's interesting.
That's not what I expected.
I think I suddenly have other stuff to do today.
Look, you're allowed to like things. You're allowed to have opinions. I won't steal your joy. This is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was expecting train wreck, disaster, dumpster fire, throw things out the window. What I got was a competently made movie with baffling decisions made by people who just didn't get it. There's where I came away from.
A couple big issues in this movie that didn't affect me this time. We'll kind of, as we get into it, we'll talk about it. One, I should say this did come out in 2013, because I forgot to mention that, and it was directed by Shane Black, which I don't really know any of his work.
He's done stuff. His directorial debut was I think it was 2005. I pulled it up with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which was a critical darling, starring Robert Downey Jr. and it's fine. And then he went on to do Nice Guys, which people liked in 2016, and then he did the Predator remake, which I never saw, but
I think that one is liked a lot though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't seen it. I don't know how well it's regarded. So he's done work.
Maybe not.
Evidently, he has an authorial style. Everything's set during Christmas. He likes that for some reason, which is a huge theme here. Snow is present. I don't think he gets it. There's a couple things here. I'll let Michael jump on that as well. But number one, it's hard when you're the same writer and director, right? Joss Whedon wrote and directed the Avengers, but he has an authorial style. He has a thing that you either like or you don't like. That's just what it is. Shane Black also wrote and directed this as well. And when you do that, you lose objectivity. You have a hard time deciding if jokes don't work, which very few do here. You have a harder time making those decisions because it's your words, it's your source material, it's your pet project. And I don't think he quite understood what made Iron Man so fun and interesting to begin with. The idea was good. A Iron Man who is, not getting up there, but stripping him down to nothing is, I think, pretty interesting. This is not an Iron Man movie, friends. This is a Tony Stark movie.
Yes. That's why I didn't like it in 2013.
Of course. And now we've been colored by the entire MCU we've seen. So we kind of see what's in the future. I can see getting into the theater, in 2013, watching this and being like, why why am I watching Tony Stark drag an Iron Man suit through the snow in the middle of Tennessee? Like, why are we doing this? So in retrospect, I think you can enjoy this more. I still think, again, it's competently made, but it doesn't work. And he makes some horrendous decisions, which of course we will get to. I don't want to get to the biggie until we get there, because we'll probably spend 10 minutes on it. Michael, where'd you land on it?
I would put this on par with Incredible Hulk, where it doesn't feel like an MCU movie. Like, you could take this out and nothing would change. Even the very end with Tony taking the arc reactor out, like they kind of double back on that, where it seems like he still has them, at least in some form, in the later movies. Like, this movie doesn't add or take away anything from the MCU. It's just kind of there. It's
treated like the last Iron Man movie, but they also I feel like they didn't. But at this point, you had the phases in place. Like, all the plan was in place. Like, it's not like they didn't know Tony Stark be back in a couple of movies doing Iron Man stuff. So it was kind of a weird decision. We'll get to that ending as well. But I also think, go ahead. Sorry.
For the easy way to put it is, it feels like the end of a trilogy, but not a continuation of a cinematic universe.
Yes, that's exactly great point. Yes, it felt like the end of a trilogy, and at even the very end, you have all like the glamour shots of Tony throughout the last 3 movies. It definitely feels like the end of a trilogy, which is fine, and that's fine. But again, you also know that he's coming back, and even if you're in 2013, you already knew we were in Phase 2. This was all none of this was.
They had already announced Avengers: Age of Ultron. They announced everything at this point already.
Right. So it almost feels like it was written at a time when he didn't know. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But it was, and also you have the really difficult problem of being the movie after the Avengers.
Yeah.
That's not good. I mean, the Avengers was a worldwide phenomenon. I was actually looking at the gross box office. I won't get them right, but the first Iron Man made about 500 million off a 140 million budget. The second one made around 650. This one made $1.2 billion. Billion with a B. Why? Because the Avengers was a worldwide phenomenon. The first Marvel movies were still kind of niche. You had to be into that stuff and comic book movies to begin with, to check it out. After the Avengers and the accessibility of it and the lightness of it, the world caught fire on it. This movie made up $1.2 billion. So, but also, again, you're following that. And again, as much as y'all didn't like it the second time or at this time around, it was landmark. And again, I still loved it. And this is nowhere near the quality of that. This feels like an old school Marvel movie. You said it right. It is. It feels like something from the, Incredible Hulk era or something from that early era. It feels like a holdover. And again, it makes ridiculous decisions that we will get into in depth. Yeah.
It's strange. I mean, I liked it a lot more than I expected. I mean, I think I've also helped. I came in with no expectations, so that that helped. It helped.
Was this
I came in with super high expectations, and I was sad.
You saw this in theaters, right? I can't. Yeah.
Yes, I saw it in theaters in 2013. Was kind of upset, and then I saw it one other time, I think, but I could be wrong. Like the same, I would have thought maybe the following year or 2 years later when Age of Ultron was about to come out, but I can't remember. It's just one of those. I might have skipped it. I don't remember, because I know when Age of Ultron came out, I went through all the movies up to Age of Ultron. But this is the worst. This was, to me at the time, the worst one of the series. So I might have skipped it. It is not the worst one of the series anymore to me. But I think it's time that we dig into this movie.
Let's do it.
This movie also kind of starts off it starts off in 1999, which is years before Iron Man 1. And I think when I first saw it, I didn't realize how much of an impact this opening really has for the rest of this movie. Like, in setting up the blocks. Like, you have a couple of cameos. You have a cameo. Dr. Yinsen shows up that doesn't really. I mean, it's amusing because I want to say Iron Man 1. He does make the comments like, we met once before, and he doesn't remember it, which fits. I mean, Tony in the beginning, a lot of this movie, Tony Stark is being an asshole. Tony Stark, which is Tony Stark. I don't care for.
No, he's an absolute dick in a lot of this movie.
Yes.
I didn't like that. He wasn't charming quippy. He was a complete ass.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. No, you're fine. I mean, it's 100% true. Like, he's just an ass. Like, the whole beginning part, especially in 1999, I mean, everything's an ass. Like, he's at the party, he's being an ass. He's just trying to sleep with Maya the whole time. Like, that's all his whole concerns, even though she's very intelligent and she's working on something fantastic. All he cares about is getting in her pants. And then you have where Aldrich Killing even shows up in this party, which means nothing to you, but I did like it. His shirt says AIM. And for those that don't know, AIM is a Marvel group that's one of like the villain groups like Hydra or something.
Okay.
But and he tells him to go wait on the roof, and that plays such a big part where he's like, "Hey, I'll meet you in 20 minutes," but then he never shows, and he completely forgets the guy even existed.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple things in the open. First thing, very, very open. It opens with a voiceover on black screen with the Iron Man suits blowing up. That's always a pet peeve, and might be just a personal pet peeve. I don't like when you just get voice over black background at the beginning of a movie. It's just annoying because it's such a crutch. It's just an easy crutch to try to build some tension and suspense. In writing, that's a big thing where, again, depending on your point of view, you never want to open with a quote, because if you're reading a story or a novel, you have no idea who's saying it. You don't know where that person is. It's a contextless just opening. And the intention is to build this suspense. But for me, it always reeks of like, really, it's kind of hack. It's kind of hacky beginning, and the blowing up suits create some foreshadowing. But again, for me, all right, we get it. It's just you're trying to create this thing. And then the party itself, it opens with a horrendous Eiffel 65 or 64 song, 65.
65.
That Eiffel 65 Blue, which immediately made me angry, because that song.
It's so bad.
That song is like ear razor blades. It is horrendous. But it is the late 90s, so I guess that's what that is. I didn't realize it was the late 90s until
1999.
Well, I didn't realize it until they mentioned it, like, Y2K, because they don't flash that on the screen at all.
I thought they flashed it.
Do they? I might have missed it while I was writing notes then. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it flashed right in the beginning.
So I'm sitting there going, and my wife is like, why is he like not with Pepper? And why is he, being a real super dick? And hey, there's the dead guy from Iron Man 1. And I'm like, what is going on here? It just confused me. But then I realized it was New Year's Eve, and I felt like a silly goose. So
if they didn't flash it, then I think that song is supposed to like instantly date it for some reason. Like they just expect you to know that it's the late 90s.
But they're always doing that with their AC/DC and their like throwbacks to old movies. I didn't realize. I swear to you, I had no idea. I'm like, what is going on? And then, of course, I realized, this is way back. Okay, the reveal of the weird guy. Gosh, what was his name? Dang it. Killian, yeah. The reveal of Killian, as soon as you see him, you're like, okay, so you're gonna be the bad guy. You're gonna be the villain.
I got something funny to say. For the whole movie, I thought that was Val Kilmer until the very end.
It really looks like it. I thought the same thing.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. I'm like, I even told her, that's Val Kilmer. She's like, it don't look like him. But I'm like, it is. I'm like, it's not him.
No, I totally I knew the actor. I just couldn't place where else he's been, but he's done.
I know Guy Pearce. He's in Memento. I've seen other movies. I don't.
Yeah,
but I was under the impression.
Yeah, Guy Pearce. He's been everywhere.
But yeah,
anyway, it's a decent beginning though. It sets it all up. It kind of sets up the what we're going to be experiencing for the rest. It's fine. Yeah, some cameos. Again, him just being a dick, but back in those days he was. And clearly he still is, especially when talking to children. Would you please relax? All right. Anyway, we'll get there.
No, we'll get to that. But I don't know. And like the whole thing, like the plant exploding, which is kind of like it's off camera almost. Like they show it real quick, but none of the characters are paying attention to it. That was kind of like it's such a foreshadowing what's coming. I mean, I know Extremist from the comics. Like I knew it was a comic storyline, so I was a little bit more like, okay, I know where they're going, sort of. But
yeah. I was fine. That was okay. It was kind of cool, the regenerating, plant. Again, some great foreshadowing. Him being sleazy with another lady. Yeah, it's kind of standard Tony Stark stuff. We're not learning anything new. We're just kind of getting some backstory as to essentially what's going to happen. It was fine.
And I did have a big smile on my face when they showed the Hollow Armor when they jumped back to present time, because I'm a huge Iron Man fan. It went away for a while, and I realized it's still there. Like, I love seeing the Hall of Armor when you see all the different suits he makes. And again, we realized real quick later on in the movie that's only a small sample of what he was doing during all this time. Because those get blown up pretty quickly. And none of that matters.
It's like the Hall of Spider-Man suits in Spider-Verse last month.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Indeed.
And it's just, and then like the new suit, like when you have that whole part with him injecting himself with whatever the hell he's putting in him, and you have the suit kind of coming together, like that was cool. To me, it's not as cool as where we get to later on, but I do like the fact that it keeps every movie with Iron Man, they always find a way to enhance the suit and keep making it something different, which I appreciate more now that I've seen the end of the Phase 3.
Yeah, it was neat. It was a cool little visual scene. It was kind of fun to have it not work great at first, which was very fun. Also, just back real quick to Killian, I thought that scene on the roof was extremely sad. Like I was like, oh my God, that's like, I mean, you knew it was coming, as Susie said. I'll be up there in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't gonna, but just seeing him there up there shivering in December 31st in Sweden on a rooftop was really sad. My wife even said, like, wow, that's really sad. Which the problem with that is, it's 1999, it's who he was. But now in my brain says, well, Tony's a dick. Like, and now all the goodwill that I had for him is starting to melt away a bit, even though I know he's changed in the previous, next 13 years, whatever it is. So again, it was fine. I mean, it was a good setup. And the Hall of Iron Man suits, super fun. I didn't get it. I was like, oh, there's a bunch of them. Cool. Okay. I figured he was making more. I'm sure he wasn't satisfied with Mark 5 or whatever it was last time around.
And I do like one of the jokes is in this movie later on where she's like, which Mark is that? Like Mark 8? And he's like, yeah. And it's Mark 46 on the side of the armor. Yeah, that made me laugh. Like I actually chuckled more at this movie than Avengers. Oh.
It's okay. Again, it's okay. Don't apologize.
I'm apologizing to myself because I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, that's a different thing if you're just trying to like get over it.
I'm trying to understand what happened here. Like how did Avengers go from my favorite movie of all time to kind of like, I don't understand. Okay, enough of that. But I forgot how epic, or maybe not epic is the right word, but how like terrifying they make the Mandarin. Like when you first see him on TV, and again, this brings back just Dark Knight memories of people watching TV, and just how powerful that whole propaganda film is with the Mandarin and the 10 rings, and like I can't remember where we were as a country in 2013, or if the USA was still very much. We were probably still hunting Bin Laden, I think. So you still had that whole. It fit that mindset, I feel like.
Yeah, I think I could do it quick. Yeah, I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, so he asked me to figure out what I did in 2013.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, but I mean, that's one thing. Whenever we're watching the older movies that end up dealing with the Middle East like that, and it makes me kind of like, I try to remember where we were at as a country because I know that plays such a big part in some movies at that time. So that's the thing I like to kind of think about.
Yeah, it was pretty timely. Bin Laden died in 2011, so I figured this was written. This figures was written probably at least a year before it was shot. Yeah, it was probably time. It was timely. There was a lot of terrorist panic going on at the time, and we weren't quite over that just yet.
Because it fits that theme. Like they do a good job with the videos that you're watching to make it look pretty like terrifying in a sense of what they're going for. They make the Mandarin this like big ass villain who's in the comics. The Mandarin is a guy who has magic ring fingers, and uses alien technology, which I prefer. But in this, so I think that was one thing that was hard for me when I first saw this, is that the Mandarin, this is a terrorist leader, not a mystical figure with rings. But I understand.
Did they even mention the 10 rings? Because you guys they did. Okay, I didn't.
They mentioned the 10 rings multiple times. The poster in the background is the 10 rings. There's also a shirt we will mention at the end of this episode that brings up the 10 rings again. But yeah, I mean, that's why, again, it feels like such an ending to a trilogy, because it's bringing the 10 rings back from Iron Man 1. You're kind of wrapping up a trilogy, where the second movie doesn't have anything to do with that plot. But the same thing kind of like with Batman, with the Batman Dark Knight trilogy, where you circle back again.
Gotcha. So what did you think of those things, Michael?
Oh man, where do you even start with this movie? Like,
man, I hurt you, didn't I?
Funny you mentioned Batman, the Nolan trilogy. I was just thinking about that with the Mandarin and being just a guy. Essentially, is what they did with all the supervillains in that. It's like no one has any superpowers. Everyone is just a normal person. It's like you're kind of taking away what makes those characters really cool. Like God, who the hell are the villains in those movies? Like Scarecrow. Well, no, damn, that's a bad example.
Scarecrow is the first movie, and Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, like I guess all those characters are just kind of people anyway with their gadgets, but there are no actual supervillains. It's like no one has powers in that, and then they took them away from Mandarin in this. I don't know. It seems kind of lame.
It bothered me back then. Did not bother me this time.
Interesting. Yeah, I wrote in my notes, Mandarin in this just looked like Evil McEvilson. He was just evil man with the beard. Here comes Brown Man, who's scary Brown Man.
I mean,
I thought it was neat.
unfortunately,
I had mixed feelings about it because it was kind of cool to have this unstoppable quote unquote villain, especially when you discover how he's been unstoppable and all that sort of thing. But it was kind of neat. I thought he was menacing for sure. I definitely was kind of like, ooh, this guy means business. This guy's not joking around.
I mean, that's partly because Ben Kingsley is an amazing actor.
Yeah, we'll get to that too. The man's been knighted, so I don't know. Let's I'll get there too when we get to the big reveal. Like I said, we're gonna spend 10 minutes on that, easy. But yeah, it's okay. I had mixed feelings about it. I was watching it. I'm like, okay, so we have atrocities. You're claiming responsibility for the Native Americans. Oh, okay. You're blaming us for things. All right. Okay, great. You got it. Yes, we get it. America sucks. I understand. But again, that's also might be a symptom of, being separated from it for 7 years. Again, all the all the Middle Eastern panic, and terrorists and all that sort of thing. We're kind of removed from that now. Our terrorists are in office. Waka waka. Don't turn this off.
I mean that there is a joke to that in this movie too. So it fits the movie.
Sure does.
That's a whole other story. I mean, also now we're not scared of the Middle East. Now we're just scared of things you can't see. So
yes.
Life has changed too.
Indeed. As of this
we're recording this in May of 2020, so that way that joke makes sense depending on where we're at when I release this. So, but okay. I mean, one thing that did bug me in this movie, which is a reference to the comic when they bring War Machine in, but he's not War Machine at all in this movie. He's Iron Patriot now. They took the same thing, but it is from the comics, and it does fit where this goes. Like,
okay.
It wasn't Rhodey.
It's Rhodey, yeah, not in the end, but like it. I didn't completely care for it. Like again, I'm never big. Like if they paint him red, white, and blue to fit, because but it's just stupid. Like, okay, War Machine's fine. Just make him gray. Like he doesn't need to be red, white, and blue.
Yeah, Iron Patriot was Norman Osborn when he sets up the Dark Avengers. So it's like an evil take on the Avengers. So it doesn't even fit the context here.
Not really. I mean, the only part that fits it is the fact that something later on you have someone else in the suit.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
There is somebody else in the suit. So is that, I see, again, me not knowing anything about comic books. So in the comic books, he's designed to be like evil War Machine. Is that kind of what the deal with that is?
He's like
evil
an
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Evil Iron Man. Okay. So there you go. See, so it does make sense where this goes. When again watching it, I'm like, oh, okay, they just painted War Machine because propaganda. Great.
Yeah, I mean that's how it fits in this.
Probably what, yeah.
Yeah, it just feels like someone saw a red, white, and blue Iron Man. They're like, oh, we should use that.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably fits the time more than I can remember, because I bet you at this time that was a big thing, but I can't remember.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's fine. These are all little quibbles for me. It was fine to get Rhodes in there, because Rhodes was in there originally, right? Or no?
In Iron Patriot, yes. Originally, he's in there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
You had me forgetting for a second, but yeah, he's in there for the most part of this movie until they burn him out way later, which is stupid too. But we'll get there. I want to say, then shortly after this is when he goes to a bar and you just have more dumb I mean, I like this movie, but there's some dumb stuff in the beginning in this movie. Like, it doesn't... I can't even remember what the hell they're doing in a bar, but I want to say this is where, like, you kind of start to show you that Tony has PTSD. Like, someone asks him to sign a picture, and he kind of starts to freak out when he talks about New York. Now, when I saw this back in 2013, it bothered me. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. After going through the shit I have in the 7 years since this movie, I'm like, yep, that's realistic. So...
That's interesting, because, have him having anxiety attacks is fine. Again, I get it, and it makes sense. But the one thing I did notice where Rhodey's like, no, there's been like 9 bombings. I'm thinking, like, how did you hide the other 6? Like, what? Wait, you can't hide a bombing. It's an explosion, my friend. And I'm sure they weren't little firecrackers in the middle of the street. How do you hide 6 more bombings? But anyway.
I didn't. I mean, it's the government, so I didn't. I mean, hell, I didn't. That didn't bother me, but like the whole thought this movie where he's suffering PTSD, or even just mentioning certain things, I thought that was so stupid. And now I understand. Like recently in my own life, I went back to an area where I used to know my ex-girlfriend, and being in that area, and I'm like, nope, not okay. Let's go home. Like it. I can understand where he's coming from. I mean, my PTSD is a lot. Nothing like what he went through. I just had a toxic ex-girlfriend, not where aliens are trying to kill me or anything. But I understand. Like I can understand now where they're going with. Like it makes sense. Like it didn't. I wasn't like, well, this is just stupid. Like I'm like, no, I'm educated now because I unfortunately understand.
Yeah, interesting perspective for sure. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I thought it was interesting. It's character development. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
also realistic too. I mean, because like this whole movie is talking about veterans from the army, so it kind of all fits in that same theme of PTSD and what they go through and why they sign up for what they do in this movie. So I was. That's kind of how I took it too. Like it all connects, like you said, character building, and it all just connects in the movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and it's a way to tie it into the last movie too.
Yeah, which it works. I mean, I think he would. I think Shane Black would have done better if he didn't have to tie into an old movie. He could have just, just copied off of Iron Man 2 and didn't have to tie in the Avengers. I think he would have done better. Or he just that's what it felt like to me. It felt like he wasn't the kind of guy to come in and be the next guy to put in the next chain into this gigantic 1821 movie set.
Oh, like the Spider-Man movies.
Kind of like, yes. Yeah, just completely disengaged. I mean, he had to. He had no choice. Come on now. A studio head from Marvel, kind of knocked on his door and said, hey, you need at least 4 tie-ins to Avengers, and then closed the door. Shane Black went, okay.
Yeah, no, I don't hold the counter. I mean, I understand.
Not at all. Yeah, it's fine, and it's fine. I think it works pretty good. Yeah, I like it.
Like I said, I liked it so much more this time. And I did not like the Pepper and Killian stuff. Like when Killian goes to meet Pepper, because now she's the CEO of Stark Enterprise, and he's all good looking now, and she remembers him when he was ugly and had, and I was like, I mean, I didn't care for any of that. I mean, it worked for the movie, and then he kisses her at the end. I'm like, is that really like, I mean, I haven't been any bored. I mean, but I don't think you're going to go up to a CEO and kiss her on the cheek. I mean, I just don't think that's going to happen.
And that was gross. It wasn't fun at all.
It fit the character, I guess, because he's an asshole, but.
Well, again, if you're trying to telegraph he's a bad guy, sure, dude. And he is really, as we all know, he's really the only bad guy. So he's
spoilers.
Well, yeah. Yeah, spoilers. Yeah, don't watch this in segments.
Anybody who listens to this show knows by now we spoil stuff. That's the name of the show.
We're always spoiling everything. It's okay. He actually, Guy Pearce actually plays a pretty decent villain, I think. Again, very handsome, debonair. Him kissing her on the cheek was really gross. I liked his power marbles. Those were neat. You can see his brainstem.
Yeah, I like that. The kiss just bothered me because it felt like yes, he's an asshole. Yes, he's a villain, but I don't know. It just bothered me. So. And
then she runs away like she's all hot and bothered, like, whew, I need a second to put my face on. Which was weird. Again.
She's like, I think this guy was Batman once.
I did. I really did. I even almost made that joke to my wife, like, hey, he played Batman. No, he didn't.
That's funny.
Oh my God, I can't believe I went through that entire movie until the end thinking that was the wrong guy. It shouldn't happen, but it did, yes. So, and then like the part with Hogan, where Hogan's now in charge of security, and like that whole thing where he's telling Tony, I don't like this guy and all that. I was like, it annoyed me.
The forehead of security.
Oh yeah. I actually kind of I got lost into the thoughts of Batman. Were you talking about Happy as a security head?
Yeah.
I actually thought that was kind of charming. It was. I had my brain kept going, dude, just relax, stop it. You're annoying. You're extremely annoying. You're annoying to the viewers too, to the audience. But then it was kind of cute. He kept tapping his badge to people, including the big bad for whoever his name is. His bodyguard, Killian's bodyguard.
That was funny.
Yeah, I thought that was fun. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's nice to give Happy more of a role. Although it's kind of hurt for Jon Favreau going from director to just like a bit part, more or less. He gets laid out for half the movie.
Yeah, he one thing happens and then he's gone for the rest. Why didn't he direct this? Does anyone know?
Yeah, no, I never even thought about it until it just kind of came up just now. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't, because I obviously did the first and the second. Just keep on rolling with the third. I mean, he gets the character, he gets the timing, he gets the framing, he gets what made it work and made it tick. And to have somebody else come in who doesn't quite understand all that is so hard. And I think Shane Black was just put in a bad situation. He's probably a fine director. Just a bad situation. Marvel movie after Avengers, third part of a beloved trilogy, writing it himself. Yeah.
I got an article. It says why Jon Favreau decided not to direct Iron Man 2. He was directing a movie called Magic Kingdom that he went for instead of this.
Oh, great. We all heard of that one.
Yeah,
What?
At least now we know why.
Yeah. At least we know why. So you chose to direct something else. Yeah, that's fine.
Which is not surprising.
Marvel movies are a lot of pressure. I can't imagine having that much pressure on you to direct. Like a tentpole movie in a Marvel franchise. Like that's got to be a lot. So fine. Magic Kingdom.
And Iron Man 2 was not regarded as great, so I'm not surprised either.
That's a good point.
He said he had a good run and he wishes them the best.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Now we have an answer.
I don't think Magic Kingdom came out either.
What?
What?
No. Oh, no.
So he went and did a movie that never got released?
That's what it
Just
looks
fucking
like.
Iron Man 3.
According to IMDb.
I shouldn't be laughing
Okay.
at this. All right, anyway, we'll return back to, but
I mean, and okay, the part where like when Pepper comes home and you have him in quotation dressed up in the armor and he's giving her the back rub and everything. Now that, to me, you cut out that part. Like, you don't need that. I mean, I understand kind of like character development, but it was just stupid where she realizes it's just the armor and he's downstairs. She's like, this is a new low for you. And I'm just like, was that necessary? Like,
I thought it was good. I actually didn't mind that. I thought it was kind of reestablishing a relationship, kind of reminding us where they are in that relationship. Also reminding us, when she goes downstairs and sees him, fiddling about, remote controlling the Iron Man suit, which again, very funny. Kind of reminding they're probably later on in their relationship where it's not where they obviously later on in this, well, actually, I think this scene when it all goes to hell. No, actually, that's later. Them bickering again. That's showing, hey, this is a relationship that's now kind of grown past the honeymoon stage, which is neat. I like that. Yeah, you ate dinner without me. Her just being completely turned off and going to bed. I thought it was fine. I thought it was fun. I got a kick out of it. The giant rabbit was kind of lame, but dumb. It was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, it all kind of fits, what they're doing. So I dug it.
Okay, and then like the part when he has a nightmare, which I know when I would have saw this back in the day, it would have kind of irritated me. I mean, I know that now being older, that is a very thing with PTSD is that you're gonna that people have nightmares and things. So it makes more sense that you have a character who's suffering what happens in Avengers. That he's having these nightmares. He can't throughout this early part of the movie. They also mention how he can't sleep. He's been up for like 72 hours.
Yeah,
which is also I think a lot of times for people that suffer PTSD, it's that same symptom where they can't sleep.
So they close their eyes and their back where all the trauma happened.
It made more sense to me, like the fact that that's what this whole movie is constantly trying to go into. It kind of builds it a lot better now to me. It makes more sense what he was going for. So and then I want to say this is the first time is when you start seeing things start kind of coming to place, or they kind of start exposing the villain when you have Hogan has been tailing the weird guy from Val Kilmer, Bodyguard. And I'll just kill his bodyguard. And when he's tailing him, and he ends up watching the guy go to somebody and give some random hobo-looking guy a case at Oriental Theater, I think it was.
Chinese Theater.
Chinese Theater? Oh. Isn't it? I thought it was called. Is it called the Oriental Theater, or am I just making things up?
I think it's called the Chinese Theater. I'm pretty sure.
I'm making things up. Okay. And like when you have that, like that's when this movie, like I mean, of course I had never seen the movie, so I knew where it was going, but like that's when the movie starts to get kind of very real in a sense. That's where you have the guy ends up blowing up. I think Hogan gets beat up, and then the guy just explodes. Like the different guy that's there just blows up, and all these innocent people, civilians, just get vaporized instantly. Somehow Hogan survives, but
I don't know why.
Because he couldn't die. But it kind of like he wasn't that far away either. When everyone's getting vaporized less than 20 feet from you, I feel like if you're only 20 feet away, you're still dead.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, well, he gets thrown through like a window or some sort of pavilion, right? And then nice little hand-to-hand combat. Cool. He's a villain. The first time you see that bodyguard, he's up to no
the guy
good.
just is an asshole.
Yeah, he's just up to no good. But yeah, no, it was again created some tension. Thought it was kind of cool. Mystery is what this magical thing that happens that makes their faces turn red, and you kind of get it because it's been foreshadowed already with the plant. Because it's the same color when it regenerates. So as soon as he starts regenerating, like, okay, so the plant, she's going to be involved somehow. Okay. And all the plot points were pretty well telegraphed. So I kind of knew what was happening, as it was going on. There wasn't really much suspense in all this, but still pretty cool. Explosion, kaboom.
A lot of kaboom in this movie.
Pretty good amount. Pretty fair amount of kaboom. What'd you think, Michael, rather?
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of nailed it. It's just Happy had the benefit of being a named character in a movie. If you don't have a name in a movie, then you can't survive something like that. If you're a named character, you're good.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's good.
Basically.
I mean, it does that a lot though in this movie, which I'm okay with that in movies. But did you enjoy the propaganda fortune cookie thing where you get another video from the Mandarin and it's all talking about the fortune cookies?
This is so damn stupid. This is so stupid.
I knew you
You're
were
an
gonna say
evil
that.
villainous thing. You're going to lecture us about how Americans made fortune cookies to make a really bad metaphor. Holy God, I wrote down, wow, this is so lame. Like, this is ridiculous. Come on.
It was unnecessary.
And then he's claiming the bombing of the Chinese theater. And that didn't make sense to me. I'm trying to think because, again, Bodyguard gives Hobo Guy, his hit, this case of fire juice. He takes his fire juice, but was he intended to explode because this is all the machinations of Killian?
It
It seemed like a random thing that happened, and then the Mandalorian, not Mandalorian. I knew I was going to do that.
I didn't get that right away. I was like, wait a second.
I knew I was going to do that. Dang it.
This could have been a much better movie.
Much better everything. Oh God, Mandarin, is that right?
Mandarin, yeah.
Mandarin.
I like Mandalorian. We can just call him Mandalorian the rest of the movie.
Mandalorian, or just the orange Mandarin. That's kind of a stupid name.
Is that why they glow orange? Because he's the Mandarin?
Maybe that's why they
I hope you're not right, but I bet you are now.
Oh my God, maybe that's why. Oh man, we shouldn't be writing this movie either. Clearly.
Oh my God, no, that would be in there. That'd be a line that somewhere somebody wrote. Everything glow orange because you're named after the orange.
So out of touch with Tony Stark, I could see him actually saying that in this movie.
Be right on part of the slapstick.
Yeah, oh God, we'll get there. We'll get there. I'll let you run with that one. So I don't even know what I was saying. Whatever.
Well, after he blows up, I mean, I feel like that was the intention, that they had intended the guy to blow up at the theater. He didn't. The hobo guy didn't know it, but that was the intention, was to make him explode.
Or it just kind of happened. They spun it to be. Yeah, that was the plan all along.
That's kind of what I took it as well. Kind of like, oh, hey, that happened. I can claim that because I'm the evil villain who talks about fortune cookies, which is actually comes back. It comes back as a reference.
Yes, it does.
Oh God! Again, I know this may be nitpicking. Someone may claim this is nitpicking. That was stupid. Again, you're trying to build a character, build like a villainous character who has control and his fingers in every facet of American society. And he starts talking about goddamn fortune cookies. And if I'm watching the TV going, oh, for Christ's sake, you're a hack. You're a hack. I'm not concerned anymore.
All of a sudden, he's no longer scared of the terrorists. Nope, he brought up fortune cookies as a metaphor. He's done. No mistake. Don't listen to him.
I know. I probably wouldn't. I'd probably hide under a bar stool. That's exactly what I would do. Who am I kidding?
It is stupid. I mean, it didn't bother me, but now that we're talking about it, it's dumber than I think I thought about it when I first heard it. I was like, oh, I didn't know American fortune cookies were American.
I know, it's actually kind of neat. I could have guessed.
But you're not wrong.
Sure. I'm sure sesame chicken isn't like native to China,
What? How can you say that? I can't believe it.
Sesame chicken slaps. Are you kidding me?
That's good. So's orange chicken. All right. And again, I didn't care for this part where shortly after this, because Hogan's in the hospital and some reporter with a freaking cell phone, not even a camera, a cell phone goes up to Tony's face because they had to make him throw the phone. It's like, I guess that's why they had it. But he's like, so what do you want to say to the Mandarin? And that's when he's like, my address is blah, 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 blah. I'm waiting for you. And I'm like, one, you're famous, so I'm pretty sure he could just go on Google. Like, if I search Nicolas Cage's house, I'm pretty sure it will come up on Google. Like, it's just...
So my wife said, it's like, isn't his address probably public anyway?
Yeah, like I just Googled Nicolas Cage house, it comes up. I don't know what the address actually is, but I could probably figure it out if I actually cared.
Curious where he lives? Follow his Lamborghini to the building shaped like a spaceship. That's probably where he lives. That's my guess.
Then it's up on like a huge cliff, so you can see it from 100 miles anyway.
It just felt... It felt to me back then. It felt to me this time. I'm like, he wasn't even prepared if the guy took him up on his thing. As we see immediately after this, they fucking blow up the house.
And it seems out of character, right? It was written, as I'm thinking about it now, it feels like it was written by somebody who thinks that's what Tony Stark would say without really understanding what Tony Stark's character. Because you would think, okay, yeah, no, he's got lots of moxie. He just, Happy's in a coma. It's funny. I wrote down Happy in bad shape. And then afterwards, like, oh no, coma. That's way worse than bad shape. Which was actually touching. A little touching, actually. They should have lingered on that a little bit. Because they don't really show Tony spending any time with him. Like really reacting. It's just like a shot of Happy. And then he mentions Downton Abbey. Like put it on Downton Abbey when he wakes up. Like, hey.
Okay, that's what that joke was.
Yeah. Like, because he doesn't like Downton Abbey. It's like, hey, asshole. Could you spend a little time with the bodyguards you've been hanging with for 2 movies and probably forever? Could you show a little emotion? And then that's like, again, this is now modern Tony being a jerk. So, I just did not like that. And then he has this media thing where he just gets on his tough guy, which again, I could see him doing, but just the manner in which he does it. Yeah. It's like he throws a cell phone, but he has a dozen cameras surrounding him and reporters with microphones as he announces his address. It just seemed way over the top. And again, written by somebody who thinks that's what he would do without understanding the character.
That's, in my opinion, not what he would have done.
No, I don't. They're right. I don't think he would have done. He probably would have been emotionally wrecked a bit. Like he would have been sad or angry. Angry is definitely an emotion that can be spawned from that. I don't know. It seemed very out of place. So we're saying the same thing.
Because I feel like Tony would have just been saying, "Hey, where are you? You give me where to go, and we'll talk. Not come bomb my house."
I think you kind of nailed it, Bill. Is like, I think he's just coming out of the hospital where Happy is, and I think it's just all anger.
Yeah, and that's fine. I just, again, the way he delivers that anger didn't seem to be in keeping with his character for me.
I buy it. I buy what you mean, not the part. All right, enough of that. But like in the whole part when the whole house explodes, like you have Maya show up for really no reason, and then you blow up the house. I mean, I feel like the only point of her showing up is to kind of show that she's not the villain. Is how I took it.
I actually, before we get to that point, I'll let you go, Michael, after this. But I did like in the lab, we kind of papered over. They go back to the lab and they discover that it was a 3,000 degrees Celsius blast. And they do a little smart guy stuff to figure it out. Hey, highlight the last few bombings and highlight this. And Jarvis does smart stuff. And then everyone on the show groans at me because that's become a trope. I do like the fact that he kind of gets, and I don't know how he did this, but I just thought it was cool. I'll just say this is movie cool, where he lays out Happy's body on the ground, and he did some Arkham Knight detective stuff. It was really cool. I was into that. I was like, I'm
okay,
here for
that
this.
part was kind of cool.
Yeah, this is neat. And then he finds a similar blast in Tennessee, and that's how we end up in Tennessee. But first, we have to blow up the house.
I mean, okay, like I had forgotten why he ends up in Tennessee. Because they mentioned it in this part, like you just said. But then as the house blows up, he ends up underwater with a messed up suit that can't really handle itself. And then somehow from there, because he just says, "Get me out of here," Jarvis then sends him to get abandoned in Tennessee.
Well, that was the flight path that was programmed because he had actually said to Jarvis, "Okay, let's get us a flight plan to Tennessee," and that's when the doorbell rings. In his he sees it on the monitor, just a random scientist walking up, like no problem. You just gave a maniac your address and just let this lady walk in. Did they ever mention her name until like way later in the movie? Because I kept saying scientist girl because I did not know her.
Want to say they do mention her name is Maya.
They mentioned it at some point because like I paused the movie and I said to my wife, "I'm like, here's a fun game. What's that character's name?" She's like, "I think he said it was Maya." I said, "Well, you're apparently paying way more attention to this movie than I am."
Clearly,
you were suffering.
Oh man, this movie jumps, especially the beginning. It jumps around so much. Like no scene is more than a few minutes long, and then you're somewhere else doing something else. It's crazy.
You're right. Like, I usually take my outline usually scene by scene, and there's lots of spots in my outline that have nothing. It's just really nothing. Tennessee, back to something. Yeah, no, it does jump around a lot.
Okay,
but we do linger on this scene of complete destruction of his house.
Yeah,
which was visually cool. That was cool. I was into it. I like seeing Iron Man not be able to do Iron Man things, forcing him to be resourcul.
Perfect movie for you today.
Oh, we do. Well, again, this is Tony Stark 3. This is not Iron Man 3.
Yes.
But it is neat. And to see him under duress, right? That was fine.
So this is AIM attacking his house, right?
Yes.
We find out later. And isn't Killian's goal to get him to help
That's good
get
point.
Tony to help? And also he knows Maya's there, which spoiler, she's bad. So like, I don't know. It didn't line up for me. Like, why is he trying to kill Tony? Why is he trying to kill Maya when she thinks that he needs her help?
Was that established yet at this point though? Because that's the thing.
Not until way later.
Yeah, because you're not sure. Because at this point you don't know that, unless you're being perceptive, that Killian is is the Mandarin, because he's expecting the terrorists to come with helicopters, evidently, to fire missiles. Where'd you get those? And at his home, like he's expecting to take on this, bearded dude who's a terrorist. He's expecting that. So when this happens, you don't realize it's AIM doing it. It's just some dude.
You don't even know AIM is bad until
right. You don't know that
later.
Correct. You just think there's some terrorists attacking a guy with the only thing that does it does foreshadow it, because you have the bodyguards piloting one of the helicopters.
Oh,
so that should tell you right there.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, they show him a couple of times with his glimmering orange face.
No, I think you're right. I just don't think I paid attention. I think I already knew who
That's
it was.
That's how. So now at that point, you should know that AIM is in league with the Mandarin. But again,
I think it's like the next scene is Killian's on the phone talking to that guy. He's like, "Yeah, we didn't find Stark's body or whatever." So it's not very long before it's spelled out for us anyway.
Right, that doesn't make sense. But again, I don't think you realize at this point that he needs Tony's help. That's really only established when he's captured.
Yeah, that's later.
But still, I mean, looking at it from someone who knows what's going on, it
very fair.
Make sense.
Well, if you know what's going on, you're gonna hate it in about an hour. So
I even though I knew this movie, because I've seen this movie, I had forgotten all about the whole fact that that he did need Tony's help. That I think I erased this movie from my memory, which also made me enjoy it more, because I didn't remember anything. It was all brand new. Kind of funny how that worked.
Well, yeah, I mean, a couple of dumb things, and I mean, for example, like his flight doesn't work because I forget why. Was it because it's not done yet? Because the flight mechanic wasn't working? I don't remember why.
It wasn't ready.
Tony's passed out in the suit when it gets to Tennessee. He wakes up. So I don't know if that has some kind of
I'm talking about when he's in the midst of this house crumbling. He can't use his flight. So he has to kind of just do, I don't know. He's like at quarter power or something. He uses a piano to take out a helicopter.
That was cool.
Oh,
that's one word for it.
Dumb. I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought it was silly.
I didn't like it either.
It made me laugh. It was like, oh, this kills tension.
It's like Die Hard 4 where he throws the car into the helicopter.
Exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought. Yes. Just like a refrigerator protects Indiana Jones. Yes, I get it. It was silly, but I
forget that ever happened.
You can hand wave it, but it just read as silly, broke some tension.
I wonder if it just took damage in the explosion, because he's not even initially in the armor. He throws it on Pepper to save her, and also he'd be so dead when that bomb went off and he slams into the wall.
Oh my God! There is a
Yeah.
lot of Die Hard DNA in this, where somehow, some way, John McClane can just survive stories of falls and rocks and explosions, and somehow, some way, comes out relatively unscathed. I thought that numerous times, like, oh, you are not a superhero, my friend. Without your suit, you are just a dude.
Yeah, 100%. That's one of the weird things about this movie.
That was a big problem for me. Again, that kind of just gets it to a little too comic booky for my taste. Again, you can hand wave and say, well, it's a comic book movie, come on, what are you gonna do? But yeah, a lot of John McClane DNA in this, in his portrayal of how he figures things out and gets away with things and gets around disasters, especially later on after the bar, but we'll get to that as well.
The whole thing in Tennessee, I remember when I first saw it, I thought it was just stupid. Now it doesn't bother me. Again, I don't understand exactly. You see him, he wakes up, he takes the armor off because it's all busted, and he's just dragging it behind him. And he ends up at a random house, and he just busts down the door and goes in the house. And I want to be like, why did he pick this house? And how lucky is he? He's in Tennessee, so you're in the South, and I'm assuming Tennessee's one of the states where you can have a gun, where everyone has guns, like in Texas. And he just walks in the house like, I'll be fine. I'm Tony Stark. It's not going to stop someone going, who are you? Oh, you're that famous guy. No, they're just going to shoot your ass.
Yeah, Michael, I'll let you chime in on this because I have a thought, but I'll let you.
I really don't have much to say. I mean,
I just like setting you up because I know you despise this movie.
It's great, isn't it?
I thought it was, and you know what? Not for nothing, Mike. You keep saying you didn't mind things. You have yet to say you liked things. things in this movie just things. Yeah, let's just get this straight. I don't know what you're going to say about the rest of this film, but you have said you have derived no joy according to my reading of how you're saying this. You're just saying, well, I didn't hate it. It's like getting takeout from Burger King.
You liked it more. You just didn't hate it as much.
Exactly.
I think, again, I came in this movie with such low expectations and I left not upset. So I'm like, hey, the win-win in my favor.
I feel like that Malcolm in the Middle meme with Dewey, who's like, I had no expectations, and I'm still let down.
You were, yes.
Oh God! All right. Well, anyway, so Mike, I'll let you chime in on this because I need a little more rancor for this part.
I mean, then we're introduced to the kid. The hell's his name? Kid.
I don't remember.
I can't even tell you.
It's Harley.
Harley. There we go.
Only reason I remember that is because for obvious reasons.
Like, he plays the part of kid fine. Like, he's an annoying kid, like he's supposed to be. But does he really add anything to the movie? It's just someone for Tony to talk to while he's in Tennessee.
He's only a person to make fun of, to actually make fun of and give him constant shit, which was awful. That bummed me out. He's fine. I will never. So just to give you a couple things, I will never criticize a kid's performance in a movie, negatively, because they're kids. Like, don't leave them alone. They're kids. Just stop. I really, because critics will like, oh, he really wasn't good. He's 12. He did his best. So shut up about it and let him be a kid. Like, relax.
Yeah. No,
that's one thing I never do.
That's the one thing he has over Jake Lloyd is like, he's written to be a kid. He's not written to be something else. So he plays the part of.
He's not a 10-year-old hitting on a 14-year-old? What? That's weird. Huh.
Jake Lloyd, the Jake Lloyd syndrome is just a symptom of bad writing. Like, it's not a symptom of kid as an actor, because he's just a kid reading lines to the best of his ability. It's just horrendous, writing. I had a thing here when it comes to the Tennessee. I don't remember. Yeah, the breaking and entry sucks. Like, why would you do that? That makes no sense. Like, for example, so he crashes in. He's in Jarvis. He gets out of Jarvis. He's cold. He steals a poncho off of like a Native American statue, which is funny. That's fine.
It's supposed to be a callback to Mandarin's talk earlier about the Native Americans.
Probably.
If it is, I'm gonna grind my teeth.
You know what? It probably was.
Credit.
Probably, but actually probably give more credit. But he actually dug this, right? He's in this lonely place. He's cold. He's dragging Iron Man around. Iron Man's busted. It's symbolic, right? I'm like, okay, like, wow, okay, I'm feeling for him. And then he just kicks in a door and just like goes into a random garage, like, hey, that's illegal. Shouldn't be doing that. And that's of course when we get introduced to Harley. He doesn't really do much. Yeah, I thought he was written to be baby Tony Stark, like the kid he doesn't have. That's kind of how I felt about it. Like, oh, he's the kid that he doesn't have. So
yeah, that's a good way
so he's gonna show him some stuff. He's gonna like have him do some things. And hey, do you get bullied? I can tell. How can you tell? What?
Yeah,
that I was questioning that too.
I guess he just needed stuff. I don't know, but I don't know why you'd send a kid to get you stuff like.
Where you'd act like such a asshole to this kid that's helping you out.
He is a complete jerk to this kid, which is so just bad for his character and mean for no reason. Like, hey kid, can you do me a solid and get me some stuff? Hey kid, oh, you're a big fan. I love it. Not screw you, kid. Like, hey, you broke the finger off my Iron Man suit. Well, dude, it's in shambles. What do you care? Like, it was mean for no reason. It wasn't charming, quippy Tony Stark. It wasn't him being aloof and I don't care guy. He's just being a jerk to a kid. Like, he's 12. Like, it made no sense. And I thought it really kind of damaged the character, especially at the very end of this Tennessee part, which we'll get to. Which is literally probably the meanest thing you could say to a child, but we'll get to the meanest thing you could say to a child.
Okay, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
no. Yes. No, that's in this scene where
he's
like,
okay.
No. The meanest thing he says to him, he's like, who's home? He said, Mom already went to work and Dad went to get scratchers, but apparently he won because that was 6 years ago. He's like, yeah, well, Dad's leave. Don't be a pussy about it. Like, what the hell, man?
There's another mean thing later.
No, I don't know.
That's still pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. Like, what's wrong with you? And do you really need to say pussy in like a PG-13 film that has a bunch of kids in it already?
Right, yeah.
Like, dude, like that, it's so tone deaf. That's what it is. It's tone deaf. Like, you don't understand. what this is supposed to be and what this is meant to be. Because again, I think this is written to be little Tony Stark. Like, he's really into electronics, he's into building things, he's curious, and that works. I dig that so much. Super here for that. But then you're just an absolute jerk. Are you writing it because Tony Stark's dad was a jerk, so that's how he projects fatherhood? And what? Who cares? Stop. Just don't do that.
It was stupid. It was
I
one
don't
of
know.
the dumber parts of this.
Sorry.
It didn't really hit me until you just mentioned that there'd be kids in the theater. Like, Tony's been set up to be a hero, like, up until this point, through Iron Man 1, 2, and Avengers. And, like, they kind of undo his character in this movie, where
they really do. They
very
rip it apart.
unheroic.
Yes, he is not. Yeah, he is not heroic. And there's another scene that I will get into where it's another crime against the audience, but we will
Another crime against the audience.
and it's not Mandarin related at all. There's a crime against the audience that's committed, and I'm curious if you guys caught it. But anyway,
I don't
so
think so. I know you have a little scene with Pepper and Maya in the car, because I forget Maya's like knows more about what's going on. This is when she tells her, when she find out it's all a whole ploy to capture her, she tells Pepper like, "Oh, Aldrich Killian is working with the Mandarin. That's his boss, and we need to go here." And then she just gets captured eventually. But
that's not it. But that's fair. So we'll get there, because now I'm raring to get there.
You have in Tennessee. Like, I know we mentioned why he goes there, but you have that whole part where he goes to where the first bomb site is, and you have them kind of investigating the bomb site. I mean, I was okay with that, where he's like, that's weird, there's only 5 shadows and there should be 6 or something like that. I don't remember the number, but because that's when he starts putting together that the guy was the bomb himself, and that's why there's no ash shadow for him.
Yeah, and this is also where Harley starts pushing his buttons to get him to have an anxiety attack, because I guess we're now around the end of the first hour of the movie and he hasn't had one yet. So he presses him to get an anxiety attack. I'm actually okay with this, because that's what a kid will do. Like, a kid will ask you 1,000 questions in rapid fire. I forgot the thing I was going to say about. I'm going to go back. Well, no, I'll do this. So I was asking myself, why would this kid do that? Like, why are you in this moment? You're kind of having this somber moment with this memorial. And then I realized it's because, again, we're about the end of the first hour and the script said so. So he had to do it was in the script. And it's a hack joke from back in like the Plinkett days. But do you see the script? It's right there. It's underneath his foot. He's got to do what the script says. But yeah, it was very contrived, that whole anxiety thing. Because you've lost all our goodwill, Tony. Like, you've lost it. It's gone. We don't like you anymore.
Yeah, that's accurate. I mean, he's an asshole in this movie. Like, huge ass.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Another fun drinking game. Take a shot every time we call Tony an asshole.
If they're still alive after that Hawkeye episode.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that might not be published at this point. I'm not sure yet. So, like, I didn't mind the whole, and this is all, and I want to say there's another Mandarin recording, and this is when at Killian's house, when you start to kind of find out that Killian is somehow involved with the Mandarin, but you don't find out that it doesn't really get as deep as where it ends up going yet. But that was also just weird. And then,
sorry, was
there's a small part where they go to the house for a second, where they show them showing up at the house. They don't, and he's getting ready to record.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right.
I have written down, but I think there's more to it a little later.
Wait a minute, but this, because we have, that's not the scene that you're talking about where they actually have the guy shot on the broadcast.
No, that's, isn't it? No, I think
that's after the bar scene. That's after the bar scenes. Because I think we're approaching.
Yeah, the bar scene was okay.
Yeah, I think this Mandarin one you're talking about is where Killian's on the phone with the guy, like I mentioned earlier, and then he walks out, and there's the set there where the Mandarin's been recording.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
because you have Tony, the PTSD moment, which is what we just talked about. Then you have the Tennessee bar, and where he goes to meet the mother of the guy that exploded, and he's like, where can I find her? She's like the bar where she always is, or something like that. Is what the kid says, Harley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the scene. The whole scene, the whole setup of this is. I felt like it was a bunch of. It was fun actually. It was a pretty decent action scene. You get to see again. It's showcasing the different things that the fire people can do. The Homeland Security lady shows up, a little foreshadowing as he walks in. And he sees her all like scarred up. And of course that signals me to think, oh, she's a thing. When I didn't expect her to come in as, fire lady. She comes in and then, says you have to come with me, Homeland Security, give me that file. Why they need the file, I don't know. Like, why?
I think it's just evidence against them.
Oh, right, because it's evidence they're going to burn it with their fire hand, which is great. Could have just done that. I really thought there was going to be a real scene between Tony and the mom, but you really just get her. I forget what she says. She says, oh, that's right. She gives him information about her son who was killed, the bomb guy. And then she learns he basically deduces that I don't remember how he deduces he wasn't a terrorist, that he was exploded without being a terrorist. I don't remember. Exactly. And then after that, of course, we have the battles between him and I call it the Og Squad. And the only reason I call it the Og Squad is I'm playing Deus Ex right now.
Yeah.
So I call it the Og Squad, even though it's not really Ogs, obviously. But then they're shooting fire. They're doing
I like this part. Like I enjoyed when she shows up, she handcuffs Tony, and because I knew who she was immediately. He runs into her when he's about to enter the bar, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's bad. I remember that. But I liked it. I liked how he's running around handcuffed and she's trying to kill him and he's trying to escape. Like I enjoyed all that. I didn't mind that part at all. I thought it was funny. I thought it was fun. He's escaping and he finally blows her up to kill her because he starts a fire. I was on board with this part. It's positive for a change.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna immediately undo that. Where he's hiding behind he runs out the bar and hides behind the truck, and there's some guy there. He's like, man, this is pretty crazy. He's like, yeah, you want to see something else? And then he like jumps through a window. I'm like, why? Why was that line necessary?
It was so useless.
I feel like I'm just nitpicking to be hateful, but
speaking of useless things, there is one that nobody would have got this. Like shortly after this part where the kid gets caught and he's talking with the bodyguard guy and he's like, I forget whether he wants to file or something, but he makes a reference after he kills him. He or shoots him with doesn't he shoot him or something? I don't remember. Whatever the hell happens to him. No, he doesn't die yet. He ends up distracting him, or I don't remember exactly, but he makes a Westworld reference. That's what I want to say. And at the time, Westworld was only a 1970 Western film where they're androids, where it would have went over everybody's head. I feel like most people's head back in 2013, where now you have the Westworld series on HBO. Like, okay, I get that reference now, but
yeah, like I immediately pulled up Google. I'm like, that wasn't around yet.
Yeah, I didn't. Again, I don't really watch the shows or anything, so I didn't get the timing. But I did catch that. I just didn't connect it to the show. I will say one thing about the bar fights. I thought it was fun. I thought the handcuff fight was really fun. Again, I kind of dig that they have like a prop or something that's kind of preventing each person from doing what they can do. In Tony's case, which is pretty much nothing, I really dug, although I felt bad for the owners of the actual building they ended up in anyway. I always think about that when they blow up buildings that's not theirs.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, hope that guy has good insurance when he microwaves the dog tags and does something and hits, I guess, a gas line or something. Yeah. That was neat. Super into that. Again, trickster with science. Super down for that. And then
it's blown up and hanging from the power lines.
Yeah, hanging from the power line.
That's right, Persona 4.
Yeah,
great game
indeed. And then
we'll never be on the show.
No, it's only like 80 hours.
I beat it.
I say you got a lot.
There was a part that bothered me a lot in this movie that is nitpicking, but it bothered me. Like, so after this, he ends up getting to a car. Whose car it is? I don't know. How to get a car? I don't know, but gets into a car.
Oh, it was the main bodyguard. It was the bodyguard's car.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I asked the same question.
Sense.
Yes, I asked the same question. Yeah.
What the fuck is this car doing? Did he just where's the? Okay, now I'm good now. Thank you. You made the movie better for me now.
See, now you like that. So,
I mean, even the part where like he's talking to the kid, where he's like, I'm gonna leave you like your dad did. Bye, and I'm like, oh, you're an asshole.
That is the moment where I was like, fuck you, Mr. Stark. Wow, what a ass. Are you gonna leave? And then kids like shrugs it off, like, oh, it was worth a shot, which is supposed to soften that blow. But the fact that he actually fired that punch is so bad. And Tony got out of the predicament with the kid getting captured because he gave the kid this light stick.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
This flasher, and he so that pays off the flasher. He gives him the flasher, and then which obviously stuns him. And then Tony has a backup laser thing just sitting in his pocket. Hey Tony, Tone, my man, why didn't you just take that blaster thing when the lady had your neck pinned to a counter with handcuffs, searing hot flesh? You could have just grabbed that and went poof right into her face. He
wouldn't have had it for the final scene, right? The next part.
Because the script told them to. Because the script said, you have to blow up this lady with a microwave dog tag and gas line, and then save that for the traumatic end with the kid that you clearly don't like anyway. So why would you even care, considering you just told him to, well, yep, I'm just like your dad later, and pretty much meaning it. I mean, well, actually probably not, because the suit's still in the garage, but yeah.
Still an asshole, fuck.
And then he just walks off with the file after he shoots that laser beam. Just walks off. Whoop. Oh, there it is. So stupid. Stupid. But now we get to the newest broadcast. When I finally realized it was Ben Kingsley, I did not know that up until
Nor
this
did my wife.
because you don't really see much of him. You see kind of like beard and lips and sunglasses. To which I'm like, ooh, Ben Kingsley. He's good.
He is, like we said before, he is such an amazing actor, though, in general. Like, he's good.
No, he's great. He's great as, the Mandarin. He's great as Mandarin.
Yeah, he's sure.
And as Trevor.
Yeah.
This incarnation of Mandarin.
He didn't bother me this time. Bother me at all. I mean, you still don't find out the big reveal yet, but this is the part where he has a guy on the floor and he's like, President, if you call me, I won't shoot this. If you don't call me in 30 seconds, I'm going to shoot this man. And the phone starts ringing and he's like, he shoots him anyway. And you're just like, oh. But I mean, I don't think he ever shot him because he's a fake. But
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the whole surprise at the end. But yeah, this works. This is fine. I mean, it's a chilling thing. You saw that coming. You didn't think that the guy was surviving that. He goes, I bet you he's a pretty nice guy. And yeah, I dig for the most part, I dig those broadcasts. Some of the bits are really stupid, fortune cookie, but as far as theming goes and setup, it's pretty good.
I feel like this joke is going to come back and back and back again.
That's not our style.
No, of course not.
We don't do stuff like that.
Yeah,
Never.
We don't beat things into the ground. No, not us.
Not this show. Oh, no. I was actually okay with him traveling from Tennessee to Florida in a day. It didn't bother me this time. It made sense. I was okay with that. Okay, so and then you have the part with Iron Patriot going around to a couple different places. That was stupid. He goes to Pakistan, does nothing, goes somewhere else, and there's people in a sewing shop. Like, that was all just stupid. I did not like it.
It's just how they capture him, right? Where he goes to the sweatshop and then one of the people turns out to be an extremist person.
Doesn't happen yet. It happens, later on.
But
this is how they
bring up the two.
Basically kind of like just lead him on a wild goose chase, to different things. And Tony calling him while he's in Pakistan was actually pretty good. That's he needs because Tony needs.
I did laugh
because Tony needs credentials to the AIM to go in and do something. I guess find out where the Mandarin actually is, because he's now connected the dots. And when Brody gives him his password is very funny. Was it War Machine Rocks with an X?
Yeah, with an X, all caps.
Okay, the part that I thought was just weird is when he says it, the other people can hear him too, and you think if you're in a giant suit like that, it would be only in the suit, like it wouldn't project outside if you didn't want it to. I don't know.
That's a good point.
That's nitpicking, but I thought about it.
Yeah, I don't know, but that is a good point.
It is funny when they laugh. I thought it was funny when they laughed.
Yeah, I speak English. But this is when Rhodey finds out that Tony's still alive. Like, we see Tony call Pepper when he gets to Tennessee. Like, you didn't call Rhodey and be like, "Hey, I survived the house exploding."
And no one seems terribly. Everyone seems very nondeplussed. I think that's the right word about the fact that he's alive. Like, the newspapers think he's dead, but no one seems to ever really react strongly. Like, huh. There you are. I think you were alive.
Gary did. Gary was so excited to see him.
Oh, man.
Okay. That's this. Okay. Here we go.
There's a part where he goes into a van to hijack the signal or something after he gets the credentials, and this guy walks. He's like, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "You're Tony. You're alive. I knew you were alive." And the guy's talking all about it. Pulls out a tattoo of Tony Stark's face on his arm. And you know what? I wasn't hurt. Like, I laughed at this part. Either there's something wrong with me that I don't know, but I laughed. I was like, okay, this is funny. Maybe I just wanted to like this movie since I knew nobody else would on this show. But I was laughing. I was like, okay, this is stupid as hell, but it's funny. Okay, I buy it. And yeah, I don't know why. I bought it.
So here, I respect you guys a lot. I do. This is not good. None of this is good. This is actually extraordinarily bad for a central reason. First off, I guess we haven't had enough boobies yet in the movie, so we're gonna go to Miss Chattanooga.
That part was
so bad, of course. And you get your Stan Lee cameo.
The weakest Stan Lee cameo in all of the MCU.
so
worst.
bad. No, it is the worst because it's now like lecherous old man at like regional beauty pageant holding up a 10 car. It is ridiculous how bad this is. And again, this is what okay, this whole scene, I can actually probably talk more about this scene than I can about the Mandarin reveal. So here's problem one. This is what I call, I have a theory called levels of thinking. So if you're writing a story, you have your first level of thinking if you're doing a scene. And your first level sucks. It's always bad because it's based on cliches. It's based on just the cliches you've grown up with. So you take that and you have a second level. Second level is all right. And then third level is how you develop that. And then you get to something original. You're mining for originality. This is what I would call a second level idea. They've said, all right, so Tony Stark now has the credentials. He needs a place to put them in. Okay, where can you go to like broadcast in a lot of broadcast something? Maybe a radio station. That's kind of hack. How can we? Oh, maybe a TV truck. Well, why would there be a TV truck in Chattanooga or in Tennessee, wherever they are? Oh, maybe we don't have enough boobies yet. So what if we have like a beauty pageant, because that's something Tony Stark would be into, and we could have news vans everywhere. Because clearly every single regional TV station is going to cover the goddamn Miss Chattanooga beauty pageant. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea built off of weak writing. And so you have your bad Stan Lee cameo. You have Tony getting into the van, needing, to broadcast, realizing using speedtest.net. That was very funny. And seeing he only like 10 megs. That was pretty good. So here's Gary. All right. What? I slammed my book on purpose. Movies of this type should never insult their audience. And this character insults a core demographic of their audience, the superfan. The superfan is the reason you can make this movie. The superfan who actually cared about Iron Man from the beginning. No, this is insulting the superfan because they created this character who's obsessive. He's got the tattoo. He's giggling over himself. He is played there for comedy. And a lot of people in that theater are not that guy to that extreme, but I think it makes fun of that audience. And you don't do that. That's why. Now I'm not that guy because I've never read these comic books. I just like the films and this, that, and the other thing. So I'm not personally offended, but I can see how someone would be, because you should never make, again, I'm repeating myself, but you should never just poke fun at the people that are in your seats, because now you've alienated a bunch of people out of this. Now, later on, you're going to alienate everybody. Everybody gets alienated. Nobody's happy at all. And if Mike says that he's happy, I might have to. I won't make fun of you. I promise. I will never make fun of you.
I promise. Thanks.
That'd be mean. No, that'd be mean. You're allowed to like what you like. But I just think this is a pretty big sin. And it may seem minor because it's a minor 1-minute scene, but it just bugged me again because you don't want to cast your audience as someone who is dorky. You're over obsessive. And that's what this does. Because that's who this character is.
Yeah, I definitely didn't catch him as an audience surrogate there.
I didn't either, but he's not. I can feel it. I see where he's coming from.
Although, I do have something very important to say about Gary the cameraman. It's like, this guy looks familiar. I'm going to look him up on IMDb, which he did not look familiar because I don't know anything. I didn't recognize anything he was from. But one movie title caught my eye, and I have to read this small summary about Omniboat, a fast boat Fantasia.
What?
This is a movie he was in called Omniboat. It says, chronicling the life of Leon Pipe, which is the name of the boat, a 47-foot Top Gun cigarette speedboat from its conception through the end of human civilization. It's not just a speedboat, it's a Miami adventure. That might be the most ridiculous plot summary I've ever read.
Hey guys, can we take a sidebar on this show and actually cover that movie? Because oh my god, I am I'm super in for that.
I mean, if you can find a way to stream it.
I took two notes from this movie. One of them was my stupid intro, and the other one was Omniboat. So I told my wife, I have to tell them about Omniboat. It's so stupid. The world has to know.
Omniboat. So let me see. All right, Omniboat. I'm sure it's a trailer, right? There's no trailer or anything?
Oh, I didn't look.
Is this just this random?
I should have done that. Yeah, I just pulled it up on IMDb.
That's so funny. I won't waste time with that, but my God, that sounds glorious. So he's an established actor. Clearly, he's done some work.
He's apparently in the Sonic movie too. That just came out.
Omniboat, a fast boat Fantasia.
So, and This is around the time when you find out that Maya is actually bad and she captures Pepper Potts, which is all the whole plan, even though it doesn't really, it's not that, I don't know, not that foreshadowed that well, but I didn't care. This is also, I had mentioned earlier, this is when Patriot gets stopped when they, like you said, he goes to the sweatshop and one of the people ends up being not a worker and grabs him. And this is, I'm trying to think what else here do I want to say. But you find out about Miami through all that. He has an anxiety attack. I wrote building. I have no idea what building means in my notes. I can't remember.
Hey, that's spreading.
And I put quotation smart people, question mark. I know it was a joke, but I don't remember what the joke was for.
Is this when Tony's making all the stuff?
I like this part. When I saw it in 2013, it was the dumbest shit I ever saw. I saw it yesterday, and I was like, I'm in. It makes sense. These smart people doing smart things, making some weapons. Like, I'm okay with it. I buy it.
Yeah, I like this a lot too. I thought it was because for obvious reasons. But before that, you kind of papered over. He's on his way to go to the kid to get his suit back, and he's kind of walking him through how to fix it. Of course, the kid can't because he's 12. So the suit not charging causes the panic attack, and the kid talks him down because kid says, "Well, just build something." So, Mike, you've struggled with PTSD in your past. Can you just turn it off like that? Just boom. Okay. Whoa. All right.
No.
Wow. I figured that out. Excellent. Thanks, kid.
No,
just okay. Just build my way out of it.
I mean, mine is nothing like what some people must. Some people I bet I know go through, but no, it doesn't just go away.
Yeah, no need for medication or therapy. Or
there are things you can do to help calm yourself. Like I didn't realize as a kid, but I did this most of my life. I would breathe out like Vader. You would just hear,
right.
And I mean, that was, I think it sounds terrible on here, but that was my way of coping with things without me realizing it. That's something that I would do. But no, it doesn't just go away like that.
He literally snaps out of it with the head snap. Like, oh, yeah, I'll just build my way out of it.
Why didn't I think of that?
Let me go to Home Depot and get a bunch of stuff, which I actually liked. That was fun.
That was cool too. And he has the hoodie on. Like, I'm okay. 2013. Dumbest shit in the world. 2020, I'm on board. I bought it. Funny. No problem.
This is the last we see of the PTSD. Like, I don't think it's brought up again.
Nope.
For the rest of the movie. It's just gone.
Well, kind of sort of in the end credit, but we'll talk about that.
He's in hero mode now. Like this is the part where he sneaks into the mansion, which again, I didn't like that because it's Tony Stark, not in the suit, but just being Tony Stark. But this time, I was 100% on board when he's sneaking around, taking people out with his stupid little inventions that he made, and 100% on board. I was enjoying it. And I was like, what's going on here? Why am I having fun? But I did.
What did you think about that one, Michael?
It's reminding you of Home Alone, where he's got the ornaments explode.
Are you reading my notes? It is extremely Home Alone. Especially with the Christmas ball that explodes. I'm like, wow. Was it? What was it? Kevin? Was it Kevin?
Kevin McAllister.
McAllister, thank you. Yeah, good old. Has very Home Alone vibes. I really loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun with his DIY inventions. Yeah, it was cute. He was doing all his Solid Snake, sneaking around and doing all that. It was fun. I really enjoyed that. Probably one of my favoritist. I enjoy the scene very much.
Man, he knocks that guy in the fountain and then drops one of those exploding ornaments on him. That guy is dead. Like, he killed that guy.
He has not survived.
Killed a lot of people in this. He killed a lot of people. Like, he had no problem with it. He just killed them.
He kills 80 people in 2 days.
That's it.
Maybe he's adopted.
Okay. I was like, where are you going with this? And I'm like, oh, that's where you're going with this. Okay. I don't know. I did enjoy that stuff though.
True. Yeah.
I didn't before. And I did enjoy the whole back in the day, it was the dumbest shit in the world, but the whole part with the Mandarin being fake and you find out that he's just an actor and he's a stupid actor and the whole studio, all that was just, to me, was hilarious this time. It didn't bother me where it bothered me before because I know who the Mandarin was, but this time I was like, okay, it's funny.
Yeah, the whole Mandarin plot is just to be a ploy to distract everyone from what AIM is really doing, is the way I took it anyway.
I think that's the real way to take it.
Yeah.
Still bad. Still not good. still bad. It's still really bad. So here we talk about insulting the audience and not respecting them. So here you have, again, I kind of wrote this down, but you have 3 types of people in your audience. There's more, but here's the 3 basic types that are going to be really into your movie. You have your comic book fans, right? You have your casual fans who saw the Avengers and now are into Marvel, and they're going to see all the Iron Man movies and all the Marvel movies. So they make $1.2 billion. And then you have film fans, people who are into movies. People are into movies and enjoy these movies for what they are. Here you insult all of them. Every single one you insult. You insult the casual fan because the humor in this does not work. It's got, like, again, the booby girls, and the tone is off, and you have a creepy woman on a bed who's all high on stuff, and he's just bumbling and drinking. Your casual fan is not going to really find that fun. Like, that's not terribly fun. The second person that you're insulting, of course, your hardcore fans. Now, I don't know, from what I understand, Mandarin's an important character in the MCU, like the comic books.
Yes.
He's extremely important. And to see an extremely important character reduced to a drug-addled, bumbling buffoon who in no way could pull himself together to be fake Mandarin. Like, no chance. Nah, can't happen. And to see that character destroyed, literally destroyed, had to be an affront to anybody who is really into the comic books again. Now, first you were just made fun of for being a fan. Now you're being insulted because you've taken this wonderful character, this important character, and just basically cut him in half, like destroyed him. Kind of like what the Fantastic Four movies do to Doctor Doom. Evidently, Doctor Doom is an extremely important character in the DC, right?
Yes. Oh no, Marvel. Oh my God.
Marvel.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I don't know. Please
Yes.
remember. So he's evidently an extremely important person in the Marvel. Like evidently, I have a friend who's super into it. Like top 5 villain in the Marvel universe. To turn him into a bumbling buffoon is an insult to the people who made you popular. Like, you have to respect your fans. You don't have to do fan service, but you have to respect your fans. And then the third person, which is the film fan, sees Ben Kingsley, Sir Ben Kingsley, Academy Award winner for Gandhi, reduced to playing a bumbling schmuck, showing some range, right? That's some pretty good range, evil terrorist and bumbling buffoon. But to see that character person just drugged down to this ridiculous state is obscene, and it none of it works. The comedy doesn't work. It completely deflates the movie. I thought, like, the tone. It is a tonal shift. It's a tonal continental drift. Like, it just breaks the tone completely, and it's not executed well. It's not funny. It relies on tropes, and it relies on exaggerations, and it relies on, what's the other word I'm looking for? It just relies on just such contrivances that it is stunning. It stunned me. Because the guy didn't see this coming. Because why would I? I'm a sensible human being with a brain. How could I? How could I think someone would do such a stupid thing? But just an absolute failure of a scene. No, sir, I did not like it.
So tell me where it hurt you.
It didn't hurt me. I mean, it didn't insult my children or anything. But I mean, it's just. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you would do such a mental thing. It's incredible. And I get maybe the plot reasons for it. How about don't? How about two villains working in league together? That could work. Or I guess,
but he's not a villain. He's an actor.
He's an actor. There was one good line when I think someone said his King Lear was very good. Oh, that was Killian says that. Yeah. That's it. I was upset. Again, I was upset. I was just gobsmacked how ridiculous that was. And I could understand. At that point, now I get it. I get why fans
get the
hate this movie. Hate it. Because that's sacrilege. And I did this whole shtick for her already. So this is not planned, but this was already said. And just bad. I even looked over my wife, and she had a look on her face like, what am I watching? Like, what is this? Everything from execution to rationale is baffling and ridiculous and bad. End rant.
Like, you talk about not seeing it coming, but like they straight up lie to the audience earlier. In the earlier scene when Killian's on the phone, he talks about, they keep referring to the Mandarin as the master. Like, if you're behind closed doors, there's no way they're going to show Trevor, is this actor's name, that much respect to call him the master. They just be like, see,
But
like
that was for us. That
Yeah,
wasn't
exactly.
for-
It's for the audience.
Yeah, it's to make you think, because they still haven't, they just did the reveal,
Right.
and for this whole time, you think the Mandarin is some badass, you know,
Right.
like if you're a comic book fan or they're playing off that famous character. So I understand why they're doing it.
It's like the bombing scene earlier. I'm nitpicking from someone that knows the twist. Like, it's
You're
not
also
how
upset.
Oh yeah.
Like, just like, this is where the movie hurt you. Here, it hurt me here, and
Yeah,
here. Like, you know, same
Tony leaving the hospital, man. I'm gonna give everyone my address. Be like, come fight me.
Yeah, come at me, bro. Like, what?
So
What's the
what
matter
did you
with
guys think of the part where after he ends up finding the Mandarin, he gets knocked out or something, and they have him tied up to a bed? I laughed at this part when he's tied to the bed, and you have the guy. He's like, "You should surrender now. You should surrender. I won't kill you if you surrender." I was actually laughing, and I'm like, "What's wrong with me?"
It was actually a decent bit because like the guards are kind of playing along. Like, yeah, I almost ran there. It's scary.
Yeah, I
was
like
funny.
that one. I like that bit. It was fun. That was a good piece of it. Yes.
And then I like how all his armor comes to him little by little, and then you have like that. All that was cool. Like when he finally does escape, he gets some of his armor. He burst out, even though he can't fly. I don't think yet, or maybe
he's got like one leg on, so he's
okay,
kind
that's
of
what it was.
spinning.
He's still not. Oh, because some of the suit is locked in the shed and can't get out of the shed in Tennessee.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
In my notes, I have Maya gets shot too around this point when he's like, "Oh, he needs her." He's like, "Oh, I don't need her." He just shoots her for no reason, just to get rid of her character.
Yeah, she's like threatening to inject herself with some crap. She's like,
"Oh,
"You need me.
and then he just
can't do
shoots
this
her.
without me," and then he just shoots her.
Yeah, that's the juice that she injects to herself. I like that scene. I like when Iron Man's kind of fighting off the villains and just kind of on one leg, and again being resourceful with what he has. Again, we're so used to seeing him just laying waste, in the full Iron Man suit. It's neat to see him again have to adapt with less than what he's used to having. Never thought I'd see Iron Man wield a machine gun, but hey, all right, listen, it was the first time for everything.
Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
where things you expect don't come true. So, and then like the whole way they get War Machine to get out of his suit, Iron Patriot, where the guy is just heating up the adamant of the suit just to burn him out. I still was like, okay, this is a little odd, but it didn't bother me. It's still stupid. Like they burn him out, and finally he jumps out there punching the guys and escapes.
Yeah, like Rhodey has the best lines, like, "Don't open suit, don't open. Okay, here we go," and then it opens anyway, and he just jumps out fighting. And then Killian freaking breathes fire at him.
That was stupid. Yeah, I forgot about that. But that was stupid.
And even Rhodey's like, "Wait, you can breathe fire? Okay."
And I like that because that's basically what the audience is saying.
Exactly.
So Rhodey is kind of basically vocalizing the audience. Wait, you can breathe fire now. Okay. Hand wave. Fine. Got to move on.
It was just odd. And then you have like some other things I want to mention, like when Tony and Rhodes do finally get together, they meet each other because they're both sneaking around the mansion trying to escape, and they go up to the Mandarin and like arrest the Mandarin because they find out that he's not real. Like that, I enjoyed that. And then when they end up on the speedboat, which is what leads to the next part of the movie, when they're on the speedboat and they end up saying how they're like, "Yeah, we gotta tell people," and you have him. I think he calls the vice president, and the vice president's like, "It's okay. Iron Patriot is with Rhodey is with the president. Everything's fine. I'm secured." And he doesn't listen to him, and then you see his daughter's missing a leg, and I'm like, "Oh,
yeah." Oh my wife called that 2 seconds before that happened. And as soon as the guy walks up, she's like, "Oh, he's in on it." Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, for sure." Do you mind real quick if I back up just 2 seconds? I don't want to go back and forth. I don't want to jump around like this movie. There was one funny line with the Tony tied up on the bed and the two guys, and Tony asks him, "How far is it from here to Tennessee?" And the guy's like, 823 miles. And the guy's like, "Wow, that's pretty good." And he's like, "That's the thing I do." That was cute, and it was very Joss Whedon. Like that was for me like almost like a Joss Whedon joke that's a little out of context, but it still worked within it.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
It was cute. Yeah, the whole thing was cute. But anyway, so yeah, we have the VP. He's in on it. Daughter's an amputee. That works into all that. Makes sense. And so now we're War Machine. I'm not going to call him Iron Patriot. Come on, now, stop it already.
Tony didn't want to either.
He boards Air Force One. So now they have a choice to either, because remember, I think we missed, but Pepper has been captured by Killian.
We mentioned that, I think.
Did we?
I think we skipped over it.
That's right.
He throws out the TV balls and shows that she's infected with the extremis or whatever.
We skipped that.
Yeah,
It's fine. Doesn't matter.
it's
Just
fine.
yeah, it's perfect. Evil villain doing
Part at
evil
the
villain
end,
stuff.
but-
Wahaha. And yeah, so you got to save either Pep or the president. The suit is at like 29%, so he can't do Iron Man stuff yet. Cool. He's got to do something more clever. And then we get to the scene where Air Force One gets completely ripped up.
This was cool. It reminded me of Call of Duty, and I'm like, well, they probably wouldn't fire a gun in a plane because they know better, but I enjoyed it. I don't care. It was dumb. I enjoyed it.
I like the
That's my
fact that one of the senators or congressmen got Lady Liberty shoved through his chest.
that was
statue
funny.
and just like chucks it at him. It's like right in the chest.
I did like how Killian is in the Iron Patriot armor, and they don't know that it isn't him because it was a reference to the comics. So I enjoyed that part.
It wasn't Killian, was it?
Yeah, it's Killian. He relieves the armor in the first part to show that it's Val Kilmer.
Yep. Okay, because his bodyguard is there. Nameless
Red
bodyguard
Face's
is
not
there.
going away.
Yeah, his henchman. But yeah, so he grabs the president, and Iron Man shows up. They have a little battle. Of course, Iron Man is losing, and then a hole is blown into Air Force One, which again is probably why you thought of it as Call of Duty. And Iron Man blows a hole through him. But does that finish him off? I don't think.
Apparently.
Oh, that's it, right?
Yeah, that kills him. That's the end of him.
Yeah, apparently character's name is Seven.
There's no way on this earth anyone refers to him as Savin.
And the woman is Brant.
No way on this earth anyone refers to her as Brant.
No, I'm pretty sure that's never in this movie because I do not remember it ever being actually said.
No, I don't think so. So then we get a glorious skydive scene.
It was in all the trailers.
Was it?
Yeah, totally. This is the one scene I remember the most just because it was in the trailers.
Okay.
It was entertaining me this time. Like it was entertaining. Like he's going, he's rescuing all the people, and he drops them in the water, and they all cheer, and then he gets hit by a truck.
That was pretty funny, and then you realize it was a remote control Iron Man.
Yeah, which I was a little broken because I like him in the suit, but I'm like, okay,
we'll get to that. We'll get to all those too. And
we're almost there.
The difference, we're almost there. The difference between Iron Man in the suit and out of the suit, there is a difference, and I don't know why. I'm not smart enough to figure why, but there is a difference. I thought it was cool. The skydiving was neat. There was no stakes. Like he goes, you can only save 4 with your power, but there's 11 there. And as soon as he grabs the first woman's hand, you're like, oh, okay, we're gonna do a little skydiving.
And there's also a really small scene right after this where you see, because they mentioned earlier how they're trying to dig out the Hall of Armor, and the construction is like doing stuff to get to something. They don't say what it is, but then you see the Hall of Armor open up and all the armor come flying out. Like that's what he's been trying to do most of this movie after his place got blown up. There's a small scene with that, which shows you why when they go to the cargo ship, you have all the armor showing up, that he had it kind of like planned. It was kind of foreshadowed.
Yeah, he calls it the house party protocol, which is pretty fun.
Yeah. And then you have the president in the Iron Patriot armor for no reason at all, like chained up. That was a little odd, but
yeah, I think it's just meant to be some kind of symbolism there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were gonna light. Okay, so let me think about this. They were going to light him on fire because he did something with oil barons, because there was an oil spill and he covered it up with the oil companies. So this was Killian's excuse to get rid of the president. That way the vice president becomes president, and then he evidently owns terrorism. That's what he says. He's like, I own the war on terror. Like, oh God, you're not good. It's not a good villain. You're sir. I'm sorry. You need better motivation than that.
But you can breathe fire.
But you can breathe. You have a huge career ahead of you as a circus performer. Don't worry.
I did enjoy the big, like when I saw it in 2013, I did not enjoy, but I enjoyed the final fight in this movie where you have Rhodey and them trying to shoot people. Then all the armors show up and they're fighting. In my notes, I write armors show up and fight hot guys. Like I enjoyed that. Like it was actually entertaining where you just see different armors take out a guy or two and then get their head ripped off and get destroyed, and he's just running trying to find Pepper and everything. Like I was actually all on board with this part.
No, easily the best scene in the movie. Like,
and I was surprised because I remember really hating this part, and I'm like, no, this is good. Like this is good action. It's Tony showing that he's more than just Iron Man. Even when he gets the armor on, it doesn't last long. Like you have the trap he walks into where Potts is underneath concrete or something, and he gets caught, and when Killian attacks him and makes a really dumb comment about him being a turtle in a turtle suit. That was stupid.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And I brought this up before, but in every MCU Phase 2 movie, all 6 of them, someone gets an arm cut off, and here Killian gets his arm cut off for no reason at all because it grows back.
Didn't know that.
Every movie.
Yeah,
You'll
you know,
see.
it's funny. This scene, there were some things I did like about it. I do like, I liked, it's kind of actually fun. This movie's actually fun when Rhodes and Tony are together. It actually works this time, as opposed to the other two movies when it doesn't really work all the time. I like the fact that that Rhodes is trying to like coach Tony into being like a soldier. There's one moment where he goes, "Watch my six." And Tony's like, "What? Where's your six?" Because he has no idea. He's not a soldier. He's an Iron Man. So it was very cool to see capable Rhodes kind of taking dudes out. I never thought I'd see like Lethal Weapon in an Iron Man movie. It's lots of gunplay, like our heroes wielding 9mm and shooting people. It's just kind of strange.
You can thank Games My Mom phone.
There you go. Thank you. And then when all the Iron Man show up, all the suits, my initial reaction was, "Oh, come on, really?"
Same.
Literally, I was like, "Oh, for Christ's sake, this is stupid." But then they start kind of battling. I was okay with it. It was fine. It was like you said, very cool to see the different Iron people doing Iron Man things. They're facing off against, again, the Augs. So I'll just call them that. They're facing against the Augmented. So, they have the power. They can take on these guys again, slashing them with their razor hands and all the rest of it. And that was cool. It was a very visceral fight, very fast. Like there was so much happening at once. The pace was almost too much for me. It's one of those pacing where you just can't see what's happening. You just see metal and person. And my problem with that is it's not as exciting as an Iron Man fight because there's no stakes. There's none.
Yeah, because they're just armor.
They're just armor. They're empty. They're empty shells. So it's really just a rock'em sock'em robots where you have, you have these iron people punching these augments and there's no stakes. Again, they're just chaff for Tony to go up and try to save Pepper, which, it was fine. I didn't hate it, didn't love it. I just kind of hand wove it a bit and said, "Oh, it's cool. It's cool to see the different iron suits do cool iron things." It was fun.
The role of cool.
The role of cool. Your job, Iron people.
And
cool.
I did like the part when Pepper falls, like even though I knew she was coming back, but it is, if you didn't know, like he could have seen them killing her at the end of this trilogy because it was the end of the Iron Man movies where she falls down what you think would be her death, but she
absolutely
injected so she lives. But that was cool. Like I was really, all that was cool. The Killian fight was even cool where he's ripping apart the armor as he's trying to fight him because he's just burning the crap out of it and the armor is completely useless to him. Like that was cool too.
Yeah. And his Tony's final gag to finally defeat Killian, who comes back over and over and over again. So at one point he goes, "I'm the Mandarin." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You're Killian." Because within 2 seconds, you're going to be dead, I'm sure. So yeah, the final little trick that Tony uses to actually draw the suit onto Killian itself, and then I forget how he blows him up. But he bows him up.
Yeah, the Mark 42 comes flying in.
There you go.
And then the armor just like kind of crashes next to Tony. It's just stupid slapstick, which I'll be more than happy to complain about when we get to Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, oh man, I got plenty to say about that movie. And then he just throws the armor on Killian and then instructs Jarvis to blow it up.
That's it, right?
And it doesn't even kill him.
Yeah, it does.
No, Potts kills him shortly after the
didn't even kill him.
Back.
Yeah, he walks out of the fire like Sephiroth.
Yeah, and she's the one that kills him somehow. I forget what she does, but she's the one that murders him.
She actually has a pretty cool scene there where she hits him with the pipe and then jumps off Tony, punches one of the armors, throws it at, or she takes the gauntlet off and wears it, shoots Killian, flicks like a missile at him, and then shoots it, and it blows up.
It's a very cool scene. It's really great. I'm all about Pepper whenever she's on screen. She's awesome. And to see her really truly empowered in the way that Tony is, just elevates her a bit to really this cool badass status. Though she's great. It's a really good end to it, even though it's contrived and silly because he literally dies 4 or 5 times. Not 4 or 5, but it feels like he dies 4 or 5 times.
Yes,
like,
you're not wrong.
It's like a boss level where he's at different stages where you're like, oh come on, really? The 4th boss for 5 boss stages? Come on, Bloodborne, what are you doing to me? So it's basically it's a pretty neat scene. They and Pepper and Tony have a cool moment. Again, I like them together. It's very sweet. So we basically everything resolved itself. They embrace to the sound of exploding Iron Man suits. How many were there? It almost seemed like there was none left. But then
no, he blows them all up.
He blows them all up. Yeah, he does the order to blow them all up. And so they embrace to the sound of exploding Iron Man suits in adorable colors. And Merry Christmas, because it's Christmas Eve.
Yep.
And then that's it. We get to our wrap up.
And you have like everything kind of, the vice president gets arrested. You have Potts gets cured. You have a cool scene where the shrapnel gets taken out of Tony's chest. Hogan wakes up and sees downtown Ab. He's like, "Don't change the channel," or something.
Yeah, because that's your first thought when you wake up out of a coma.
I guess. I mean, that was kind of weird.
I love that. It was cute.
I didn't mind it, but
yeah,
throws away the old core. Like, all that was cool. And the collage that we had mentioned way earlier in this episode, where you see all scenes from Iron Man 1 and 2 and 3 and like this ending collage, which really did feel like the end of a trilogy, which was nice. And then you have, I'm going a little fast because I have to run. You have a end scene with Tony talking to Banner after the after credit scene where he's talking to Banner about what happened, which is, this is funny. Like, I it doesn't expand any more into the cinematic universe. It's just a small scene of him sitting on a couch telling Banner about what happened in Iron Man 3, and Banner sleeps. He's like, "Oh, I fell asleep when and he talks about the very, very beginning."
I mean, it was a cool way to justify all the narration. It's supposed to be Tony telling it to Bruce the whole time. Like, that's cool.
I didn't even catch that. I kind of saw that as like a throwaway. It's like, oh, that's clever. I didn't even catch that. Okay, that makes more sense.
Because they open the narration, close the narration, then it goes into that after the credits. Yeah, it's clever. Okay, I'll give you one movie.
All right.
And then a couple things I do, and then that kind of wraps up the movie. There is a short that's on this movie, which we're not going to talk about today because we didn't watch it. Plus, it fits more Captain America. There's a Peggy Carter thing. The one I do want to mention, which is on Thor: Dark World Blu-ray, is "Hail to the King." We'll do it really quick because I don't have a lot of time. But also, there's not much to say. It pretty much just shows you there's a guy that comes in that's been interviewing Trevor Slattery, and you find out that this guy interviewing him, he goes to kidnap him so he can be brought to the real Mandarin, because the real Mandarin's upset that he used his name. And it doesn't ever get mentioned, and we completely finished the Infinity War saga, and we have no Iron Man 4 plans, so who knows if we'll ever actually get anything. It really was just to say, hey, fans, we're sorry.
Exactly, yeah.
He exists. And it's stupid because it's been 7 years and it has never been mentioned again. So it's just bullshit now, in my opinion.
Apology shorts like that, or apology retcons, are just, they never work, because you should have just thought of that initially. Like, no one should have greenlit that. Like, no one, you know how many people looked at this script and said, cool, go for it.
All right, we should go to Shelf or Box.
Sorry, man, now you have to go.
Oh, you're good. It's something happened, but you're fine. Actually, we'll start with a nice, wonderful, positive effect. Mike, why don't you go first?
This is the best movie ever because it made me realize that Omniboat exists in this world.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I have to watch it at some point and then make you guys watch it, and then we'll do an episode. But no, it's going in the box. This movie was bad. Like, it jumps all over. The writing's not great. The plot's not great. Characters aren't great. Make Tony an asshole. It's just, it really didn't have any redeeming quality to it, in my opinion. Other than the action, it was kind of cool. Anyway, okay, in the box.
That's what I expect. How about you, Bill?
Oh, this is a box. This is an easy box. It's again, like I said, the open. It's a competently made movie. It's made by somebody who knows what they're doing, but just didn't understand what made Tony Stark and Iron Man interesting and fun and endearing. Right? I think he's my favorite Iron Man. He's my favorite Avenger, probably. Yeah, it's too many baffling decisions. It's a death by. Oh no, yeah, we're in Hawkeye. Yeah. Well, Hawkeye's in rarefied territory. It's definitely a box, like I said, and it's a death by 1,000 paper cuts and then finished. Well, actually, no, it's put into a coma by 1,000 paper cuts and then cemented into the ground by 2 major ones, like 2 blows to the brain, which is, of course, for me, is that Gary character. Actually 3. Gary character, asshole Tony Stark, and of course the Mandarin reveal. So this has to go in the box. It's a failure, and I'm glad I saw it for completion purposes. I'll never see it again. And Omniboat was played at Sundance and was released this year.
Awesome.
So, and there's a trailer. So I say go see it.
All right, I'll go last because I wanted to end with a positive note. I expected to hate this fucking movie. I came in thinking it was going to be absolute trash, and I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Avengers in 2012, which I can't believe I'm saying that again. So I don't understand. I just don't get it, but I really had fun. I came in with no expectations. I enjoyed myself. It's going on the shelf. Will I ever watch it again? No, I will take this memory, keep it on that high shelf, and never change it because that's what I should have done with other things that we've done on the show. So never again will I see it. Will I recommend? No, because I know it was just I happened to be in the right place with the right state of mind and the right life experiences to enjoy this movie. And if you don't have those, you're probably going to be how I felt in 2013 where this movie's trash. And I respect that. I know it's not fake. So no, never recommend this, but it's going on my shelf. I'm glad we finally watched it. And we got another movie down. Or next week or next time you listen to us, we'll be talking about Thor: Dark World.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's better than this.
I think it is. I mean, just my recollection.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. My recollection tells
it has
me
issues,
it's
but
better. Yeah.
Everything's better than in 2018. Mike would have told you every movie's better than Iron Man 3. 2020, Mike is telling you something completely different. I don't
Can't
know
wait to
why.
hear your rankings. Can't wait to hear your rankings.
You're not gonna. People aren't gonna like them. So that about wraps up this episode. Please listen to all our other episodes. We do games every week. We do comics. We have all the other MC movies to listen to. So definitely check those out. And also give an awesome shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Bobby, aka Mike Stoney. So check him out. And that's all. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where I'm constantly usually posting new updates about what's going on with the show, like screenshots of upcoming games. And that's all I gotta say. So I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you two guys for joining me for something that I know I put Mike through trauma just now. So
oh yeah, just a pleasure.
Well, don't worry about it, Mike. Don't worry about it, Michael. Just snap out of it, like Tony.
Oh yeah,
okay,
just
great.
I don't want to be like that anymore.
I'm okay.
I'll put my hand on your shoulder and say, you can watch something else. Great. Oh, awesome. I'm not traumatized anymore. Yay.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you.